Hello, my beautiful children. Today, we are going to be reacting to something different. Oversimplified. So y'all probably saying, for the older fan, what the fuck is this? Anyways, for y'all older fans, oh my god, he's getting obsessed. I know a few of y'all. And no, I'm just trying something different. Darman, I'm going to react to more Darman soon. But yeah, it's less than a week. It's like only 5 days or 6 days until I get back to school. This is crazy. I go back to 7, so the day that y'all are watching this, I'm recording this on a Thursday. Y'all are watching this on a Friday, so it's going to be 5 more days till I go to school.
This video was made possible by NordVPN.
Him and his sponsors, bro.
Click the link below and get an exclusive deal with 4 extra
Yeah, so we're watching the second Punic Wars, part 1 and part 2, so this is going to be a long vid.
Also, check out the merch store
Like an
for
hour.
some new character pins, the last remaining bucket plushies, and even a calendar. And I'm not done yet.
They're making calendars?
We've partnered with YouTube.
Oh, that's sick. I watched this like when it first came out, but I just haven't seen it ever since.
To bring you an exclusive oversimplified Roman consul figure. Get it while you can at oversimplified.u2s.com. But it's limited edition, so once it's gone, it's gone.
Oh yeah. I wish I could have gotten this.
So go and buy it now. Hey, what are you still doing here? I said go and buy it now!
Buddy, it's been like 6 to 7 months. Sika Carthage 21.
All right, our beloved mercenaries. Let's hear it. Okay. Thank you one and all for your hard work fighting in the First Punic War. Would have been nice if you'd won. Maybe tried a little harder. But this isn't the finger-pointing convention. I know you all have one thing on your minds. Hey, when are we all getting paid?
Yeah, I remember this part. This is the only part that I really...
Okay. Jim, why don't you tell them?
Jim.
I'm not telling them. You tell them. Ugh. Look, you're not getting paid.
At least pay him like a freaking grass.
We lost the First Punic War and owe the Romans a ton of reparations. Of course we can't pay you in full.
That's full. We can't pay you in full, but they can still pay you.
Let's burn this place to the ground!
Damn. Go back to where y'all came from, bro.
Hey! Don't burn this place to the ground. Come on, fellas. Will killing us really make you feel better about your money? Yes.
Damn.
Way to go, sir. Shut up, Jim. You're fired. I guess that makes 2 of us. Huh?
This is a sick animation right here. I like Hannibal called Barca in the corner, and then Hannibal right here with the elephant, and then with the buildings.
In the aftermath of the First Punic War, Carthage's disgruntled mercenaries, left unpaid for all their hard work, revolted, and Carthage found itself caught up in an extremely destructive mercenary war.
So basically like a civil war.
The panicked Carthaginians hired more mercenaries.
Bro, learn to take your people in for granted. Like, at least force your men into the military, I guess. Or force like half of your...
To fight the mercenaries they couldn't afford to pay. And Carthage came dangerously close to collapse. All the while, across the water, there was Rome. Ha! Look at those morons. We just kicked their ass in the First Punic War, and now their own mercenaries are revolting. Haha. Yeah.
Damn.
Wait, First Punic War? You mean there's gonna be a second one? Well, we're definitely taking advantage of this situation. So almost certainly, yeah.
For real. If y'all like...
The Romans did in fact take advantage of the situation. Amongst the chaos, rebels on the Carthaginian island of Sardinia sent...
So they're all around, alright. I don't even know I don't even know. Like, if you think back in ancient times, do you think these 2 islands even have population? Maybe Sardinia, but definitely not Corsica. Because Corsica, it only has like 400,000 people
sent out
now.
a cry for help to Rome.
Just
Hot diggity
now.
dog, said the Romans. That's free real estate.
Hot
And so
real
in
estate.
they went. Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's our island. Get the hell off. Hey, they requested our help. We're simply helping. Oh, no, you don't. Look, we're sending our own army to deal with the rebels, okay? But just to be clear, we're not trying to start a fight with you, so, don't declare war on us or anything. War! We surrender!
That fast. Yeah, they were in like crippling
Great,
debt.
and as part of the peace treaty, we get to keep these islands.
Bro, what a land grab, though.
The Carthaginians
Yeah,
were
Carthage.
hopping
Oversimplified faces are like
as if
just
their
so
humiliating
stupid.
loss in the First Punic War wasn't bad enough. The Romans now took advantage of their mercenary problem and stole their islands. This shocking land grab was pretty hard to justify, even by Roman standards. Additionally,
Dang, even
the
by
Romans
theirs.
now demanded Carthage pay them even more money on top.
Oh hell no! I'm like, that's it. You're getting freaking They Rome might have the boats now, but Carthage
Off of
still
what
has
was
better
already
boats, I
owed.
think.
If Rome was trying to make Carthage as mad as possible, they were
Just
doing
get some resources
a
from Africa.
fantastic job.
Or something like that. Of course, I get an ad from Rock Paper Shotgun.
The seeds of a second Punic War were being sown, and they were being watered with Carthaginian tears. Resentment in Carthage only continued to grow. Eventually, Carthage solved their mercenary
Happy
problem
Rome.
thanks to Carthaginian military genius and hero of the First Punic War, Hamilcar Barca. He sorted
False
those
Alba.
naughty mercenaries out with some good old-fashioned atrocities, and the destructive mercenary war was over. Still, all was not
Damn,
well.
they even got
in
to the
Carthage.
coastline.
Mere decades ago, they were the top dogs in the Western Mediterranean. Now, after the crushing defeat in the First Punic War and a huge bill to pay the Romans, Carthage was well and truly under Rome's thumb. What on earth were they supposed to do? If they wanted any chance at regaining their former strength, there was one thing they needed now, more than anything: money. But as long as they owed Rome $1 bazillion, there was nothing they could do. Fortunately for them, amongst their ranks, there was one big hunk of a man with one big clump of a brain. Me! Hamilcar Barca! Yes!
You're just a military
Why do you
general,
all have the
buddy.
exact same voice? I have it too! That's right.
Alcazar.
Hero of the First Punic War, greatest general alive, and the poster above my bed. Hamilcar
Face review.
Barca had an idea. All right,
Face
we need money? Well, I've got one word for you. Spain. An area
Spain. Ain't it called Iberia at the
filled with
time?
lucrative silver mines, from which the silver would flow like a river, and our pockets would be stuffed, like Tony's mother at a buffet. Hey!
Damn.
So here's my proposal. You send me with an army
The
to
hell?
Spain. I'll expand our territory, get those silver
Ooh.
mines
That's
up
good.
and running,
I said
and we'll be able to
Africa.
pay the Romans back in no time. Okay.
I said
But
Africa.
just
I
to
mean,
check,
Africa has a
You're
bit
not
more
secretly raising the
resources,
money to
though.
go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree against Rome, are you? Because we can't afford
That's
that.
exactly what he's
Hanno,
doing,
my
yeah.
dear, I'm simply going to pay them back.
For real. That's
Well,
what
that
he
wasn't
meant.
reassuring. Few in Carthage were as bitter about their loss in the First Punic War as Hamilcar Barca. 98% of his brain matter had been reallocated to thoughts of revenge. He was also fed up with the Carthaginian politicians for what
Are they really playing cards on the
he
job?
deemed a cowardly betrayal
I hate
when they
this
surrendered at the end of the last war. And so for Hamilcar, going to Spain meant being able to act independently from the weak Carthaginian government, building his own strength, and then perhaps somewhere down the line, revenge. However, he wasn't
Burning.
going to Spain by
That's
himself.
crazy.
Hannibal,
He's probably gonna burn the ashes too.
yes, father?
And eat
Would
them.
you like to come with me to
What are these action
build
figures?
an empire in Spain? Oh boy, would I! Barbara, mind if I take our 9-year-old son with me? I want to implant an intense hatred of Rome in him and prepare him for a glorious campaign of vengeance. Just try not to traumatize him, dear. No promises. The young boy Hannibal would accompany his father, watching, learning. Boy, you see that city over there? Yes, father? That is Rome. Do you know what we do to Romans? No, Father. We hate them, Hannibal. We hate them with every fiber of our being. But why, Father? Can't I just play with my Digimons? No, son! They took everything from us.
Digimons is
Our
crazy.
land, our wealth, our pride. Those animals. I'll tear them limb from limb. I'll burn their pathetic city to the ground.
Alright.
Dad?
Honestly, if I was him, I'd be
Sorry,
proud
son.
of him too.
I've just never been so proud. Keep going. I'll slaughter
Why are they so high?
their people. I'll cut off their faces and wear them as masks.
Damn.
After
That's
taking Hannibal to the
ruthless, bro.
Temple of Baal and having him swear an oath never to be a friend of Rome, off Dad and son went for their lovely beach holiday in Spain. But Spain was
Oh, how
already
cute.
inhabited by many tribespeople, and when Hamilcar suddenly showed up in their territory, they were like, "Hey, who the hell are you? What are you doing here? I'm teaching my son how to become a warrior like me." Aw, well that's sweet. Well then, little guy, let's see what you got. Good boy.
Look at the bones, bro. You know damn well you don't have no legs.
As Hamilcar got to work,
Did he give him a tree? Hold up.
Good boy. As Hamilcar got to work fighting the tribes of Iberia
Oversimplified so stupid,
and
bro.
expanding Carthaginian influence, Hannibal became a child of war, even earning battle scars from a young age. And he grew to become a great military leader himself, making his father very proud.
Of
I love you so much, son. Dad, not in front of the enemy.
Oh my god. This is so stupid, though.
You killed that guy so well, son.
But he's still
The
making.
Barcas successfully consolidated Carthaginian power, got those silver mines up and running, and were sending buckets of cash back to a money-starved Carthage. And symbolizing Carthage's regrowing strength, a beautiful new city would eventually be founded in Spain. New Carthage, with a magnificent palace at its center. Carthage is back, baby!
W City.
What in the name of Apollo is going
Says
on here?
elephant, bro. Oh, freaking.
Back, baby! What in the name of
Why is
Apollo
that?
is going on here? Romans!
Bro, get the
Glowing
hell out.
silver mines? Dancing elephants? What are you up to, Hamilcar? I'm simply gathering the money to pay you back. Oh. Oh, okay then. Or are you rebuilding strength to go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree? Like
Nah.
I said, Claudius, I'm simply trying to pay you back. Aw,
All-time enemies.
you guys are hugging. No, we're not.
Never mind.
I was hugging. Hamilcar had practically carved out a kingdom for himself in Spain, free from the meddling Carthaginian politicians. His power was becoming immense. But Dad, yes, my son? I'm confused. Are we really simply paying the Romans back? We're not gonna go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree? Of course we are. I'm just saying that to get the Romans off our backs. Listen,
Yeah.
here's the most
You don't
important
wanna
life lesson I
tame
have
the
for you.
enemy.
Vengeance is everything. An all-encompassing thirst for vengeance is great for your mental health. Are you still confused?
Really?
No, I get it now. But what if the Romans
highly
find out
doubt
what
that.
we're up to? They won't find out. Why? Well, Hannibal, because I use NordVPN.
They gotta stop with
end.
these sponsors, bro.
I'm confused again. Do you like your computer being hacked? Threats with Tories entry. Exclusive deal with
I use NordVPN. I actually do.
staggeringly quick, and Rome, Bane. The Carthaginian recovery had been staggeringly quick, and Rome was seriously alarmed. But they were also preoccupied with ongoing wars elsewhere.
Buddy, do y'all ever stop conquering?
They were enslaving thousands of northern Celts. So for now, to keep Carthage in check, the Romans insisted on a new treaty. See this river? The two sides agreed that everything above it was in Rome's sphere.
Okay, so Rome gets all of like Europe or somewhat Europe, and Spain gets all North America Imagine if this was actually true, kind of like the Iberia Treaty with the Vatican, saying like Portugal, they literally split the world in half, Spain
Of
and Portugal.
influence, while beneath it was Carthage. Under no circumstances were the Carthaginians to expand north of that river. But for now, Hamilcar and son were living it up. Well, son, here's to many more years of successful campaigning in Spain. Now, if you'll excuse me, I just have to go fight those guys. See you later, son. I love you.
Alright. Goodbye. Why he fall like that,
Have
bro?
to go fight those guys. See you later, son. I love you.
But he would with what army? There's literally two with a knife, machete. Imagine dying
the-
like that.
Oh crap! I drowned.
You drowned? I thought you got dead
Oh,
in
well.
the neck.
Always remember, son. You are vengeance. Also, delete my browsing history. Hamilcar Barca was tragically ambushed
Damn. Look at this artwork, bro. Looks like it made by AI. Look at the horse,
down
man.
a river and drowned. His son-in-law, and possibly also his lover, no further questions, took charge for a while. But he too was later assassinated, leaving finally at 26-year-old Hannibal in charge
26.
of the Carthaginian armies in Spain. Sources say
All
the
right.
men readily accepted him as their leader. He chose
Well,
to
ain't that
suffer the
nice.
same hardships as his men. He lived in the same conditions, was often the first into
So Carthage is basically split into two. So with Spain and the rest, like the coast of Africa. See?
and the
Makes
last
sense.
one out. And it also helped that he looked a lot like his dad. He had the total respect of his men. If he said jump,
Were there tissues back then? Probably like leaves.
they said how high. If he said tuck me in, they said how tight. If he said talk to a girl without peeing your pants, they said that's impossible. Nobody can do that. An army that would follow him anywhere would be crucial for exacting his vengeance against Rome. Hannibal's army had become a strong and loyal fighting force, and
Like, what if they would look 2,000 years from there, which is basically us? What would have they thought of? That's what I'm trying to say. Like, what do they think 2,000 in the future is? They probably wouldn't think of all of this. Like, hell, 2,000 years ago, we didn't have this, all of this. Just a patch of grass that you
that
slept
was
on.
making a certain nation
Nah, that's
very
caveman
uncomfortable.
times. What I'm talking about.
Seeing Carthage re-strengthen so quickly was not something Rome had expected. Yet here they were, paying off their debts and expanding their territory. It didn't
Yeah,
feel
Rome.
very much like Carthage was under Rome's thumb at all, and Rome wanted to put an end to it. Tensions were strung tighter than your liar's G-string, and all it would take was one incident to trigger all-out war. And in 219 BC, a city in Spain would find itself at the very
What
center
city?
of that fateful incident.
The yellow dot?
Saguntum.
Saguntum.
Remember that treaty declaring everything south of this river to be Carthage's sphere of influence? Well, Saguntum should therefore obviously be Carthaginian, right?
Yeah.
Saguntum had actually scored itself an informal
Oh, really? So then Carthage should score its friends with these two then. These two little states right
alliance
here.
with Rome
Or
after Rome
civilizations.
had helped it with an internal dispute. With Carthaginian encroachment, Saguntum began to fear for its independence, and Rome declared itself Saguntum's protector. But this clearly went against the Ebro River Treaty.
Then takes Rome.
So what on earth was Rome doing? Were the Saguntines and the Romans truly just BFFs? It's possible. Or was Rome deliberately trying to interfere with Hannibal's Spanish expansion and maintain a staging post for a future war with Carthage? More likely. And Hannibal certainly viewed this Rome-Saguntum alliance as an outrage. Yet another example of Roman arrogance. At first, he left Saguntum alone, but having learnt from his father to hate all things Roman, and having inherited his father's dream of bringing Rome to its knees more and more, Hannibal may have begun to see Saguntum as an opportunity. Could this controversial alliance be just what devilish little Hannibal needed to kickstart a second war with Rome and restore Carthaginian dominance? It's even possible that Rome were also using Saguntum to goad Hannibal into a fight, so they could go and kick him out of Spain. And as the two giants began gearing up for round two, the poor people of Saguntum had no idea that they were about to be crushed in the collision. Hey! Your alliance with Saguntum is an insult, and we won't stand for it. They're our friends, Hannibal, and if you lay a finger on them, it'll be an act of war. Yeah, Hannibal, back the hell off.
I can't take over as a simplified serious.
War, hey? I was thinking I might just besiege their city and massacre their people. I hope you do, Hannibal. Find out what happens. Yeah, we hope you do, Hannibal. Wait.
What the fuck? Yo, Hannibal. Emo boom.
What? Maybe I will. Go ahead. Kill them all. Okay then. Fine. Okay, guess I'll do just that. Consul, we look forward to it. Consul, you're gonna protect us though, right, Consul? Consul!
Oh, nah. Alright.
Oh, no! To top it all off, when the Saguntine people made the...
So it's... Oh, I like that flag. That flag's sick, yo. Was that the real flag of the Saguntines? That's a well-designed flag at the time. Kind of look... I think that's how the Spanish inherited their flag.
The genius decision of raiding into Carthaginian territory. Enough.
That was about
Was
idea.
enough. In an action that was guaranteed to provoke the Romans into war, Hannibal besieged the city. The siege of Saguntum lasted 8 cruel months before Hannibal broke through the city defenses and turned Saguntum into a killing field. It was a massacre. What the hell? Tell me I didn't just catch you massacring our friends, the Saguntines. Welcome. Consul, if you like the Saguntines so much, perhaps you should sug on these nuts.
Damn!
Hearing word of the attack on Saguntum, Rome was understandably in an uproar, and all eyes were now fixated on what would happen next, as Rome sent a delegation to Carthage, led by one of the most highly esteemed Roman senators, Fabius Maximus. He demanded an answer for Hannibal's sins. All right, listen up, scum. You've got a rogue general in Spain attacking a Roman ally. What are we supposed to do about it? Well, there shouldn't have even been a Roman ally in Spain. You're the aggressor here. Hand Hannibal over to us as a criminal so we can punish him severely. No, yes, no, no. Look,
Would you do
I
that,
hold in
y'all?
the folds of my toga both peace and war. Which one should I let drop? Whichever
really
one
said
you
this.
want. Then I choose.
Okay, bro.
The Second Punic War.
Oh, I like that
Gun.
animation. That was sick.
Pack it up, boys. We've got them. We already destroyed these clowns once, and we were the underdogs. Now, we're the overdogs? Hot dogs. Exactly.
Hot
this
dogs.
is gonna be easy. Here's the plan. Consul Longus, you take your army and sail straight for
Dumbass.
Carthage. Burn that city to the ground. And Consul Scipio, you just head on over to Iberia and make sure this Hannibal guy doesn't do anything crazy. I mean, what's he gonna do? Cross the Alps?
That's very fun.
We're going to what? Cross the Alps. We're going to what? I just told you. Hannibal will freeze to death. Trust me, Jerome. The Romans are expecting us to fight the same way we did last time. Passively. Taking no initiative. They think it's gonna be easy. So this time, we have to
Would
be
y'all
aggressive.
cross the Alps? If y'all were Hannibal, would y'all be more smart about this? I say you hug to the coastline, but not really too much. That's what I would do, like on the Alps side. Or maybe just take Corsica, split through northern Italy, and then just scatter around the
We
Italian
have to go on the
peninsula.
attack. It sickens me to say this, but this time we have to be a little more Roman. You mean we're gonna take poops and baths together? But I'm insecure about my hairy legs. No, I'm saying this time we're gonna take the fight to them. Think about it. Rome thinks they're simply going to invade us and win the war. So when they suddenly find themselves being invaded from the north, they'll freak out. Like Tony's mother, when the buffet runs out of shrimp. Hey! I gotta admit, it's actually kind of genius. And my hairy legs will insulate me from the cold. That's the spirit. Hannibal, you have my sword, and my spear, and my legs.
I remember this part as well. Ew. I think that's the first time oversimplified showed legs.
Hannibal's plan, a daring alpine trek to surprise the Romans, was a bold but risky strategy. If it paid off, he could catch the Romans with their pants down, but he could also end up losing a ton of men and supplies in the hostile mountain conditions. Nevertheless, in 218 BC, with a fire in his eyes and some vengeance in his belly, Hannibal brought his force of almost 100,000 men across the Ebro River. They spent months on the road, trekking through the cold, hostile mountain conditions. And when they finally reached the other side, they said, "Hooray!
That's it?
We crossed the Alps." No, those were the Pyrenees. Those are the Alps.
Oh, yeah, I forgot the Pyrenees exist.
After crossing the Pyrenees, the army then had to pass through southern Gaul, a vast territory filled with tribespeople, many of whom were hostile to Hannibal's presence. His journey to the Alps was an ordeal in itself, as he was forced to fight his way through and incurred pretty hefty losses before even reaching the mountains. His plan was almost stopped in its tracks entirely, as the Roman consul Scipio, on his way to Iberia, discovered Hannibal was right on his doorstep. Suddenly, Hannibal's journey became a race, as he rushed to get his massive army across the vast Rhone River before the Romans could intercept him. The crossing was chaotic, with the panicking elephants causing several to drown. And the first combat of the war occurred when small scouting parties from each side encountered one another. When Scipio finally caught up to Hannibal's position, what he found was an empty Carthaginian camp.
Damn, bro,
Hannibal
they ran
had
away.
slipped through his fingers.
They
The
skedaddled.
Roman consul Scipio felt the weight of the situation. Quite unbelievably, Hannibal was going to cross the
Why would you go to the northern Buddy, you should just go right here
Alps
to make it a
into
bit more
Italy.
easier. But if you want to be more
And the
surprising,
Romans had no idea where he would emerge. For the first time, a Carthaginian force had the Roman homeland under threat. Scipio sent his men onto Iberia as planned, but he himself rushed home to raise a new army so that if Hannibal survived the crossing, Scipio would be there, waiting. Would you look at that, boys? We're here, the Alps. Although it is a little later than I expected. Yeah, it's kind of chilly. We'll set up camp here and wait for spring, right? It's way too cold, right?
I think they did have calendars back then.
Hannibal?
Damn.
Hannibal's famous
At least wait till it's a bit warmer so they can surprise them even more.
crossing of the Alps was brutal. It was already autumn, and the men suffered terribly. It was cold. Men would fall off the sides of icy cliffs. They starved. They fell off the sides of icy cliffs. Some sources say they had to eat their pack animals and would finish off dying comrades in order to take their clothes for extra warmth. And then they would fall off the sides of icy cliffs. Imagine an army of 50,000 men with all of their
50. Okay, so they lost half their
horses,
men.
supplies, and 37 elephants, trying to navigate the most hostile mountain range in Europe. And it wasn't just nature that they were up against. Tribespeople lived in the mountains.
How do tribes people live in the
And
mountain?
they couldn't believe what they were seeing. A tribe approached Hannibal and said, "Hey man, geez,
Tribes
that's
are
some nice
everywhere,
armor.
bro.
What is that, gold? Man, I'd really like that armor. Hey boss, they've got food as well. Oh, shut up. Be cool. Hey, why don't you let us guide you through this narrow gorge? We're not gonna kill you or nothing. Just walk right
Look at the dog.
on through.
Ah, damn it. Sorry, y'all. I'm a goofy. I'm a goofy goober.
Right on through there. We're not gonna kill you. It's just right this way.
Death trap.
We're not gonna kill you. Hannibal's army were forced to fight their way through the gorge as massive boulders rained down on them from above. Some clever reorganization of his line helped them survive, and they were able to fend off the opportunistic tribes. But losses from the constant attacks were heavy. As the journey continued, men who went over the sides would get stuck on the ice sheets below and had to make a grisly choice between starving to death or just getting it over with. When the deeply demoralized army reached the summit and rested for a couple days, Hannibal tried to lift their spirits with a rousing speech. Look, men, down there, it's Rome. These plains stretching out in front of you are bountiful with food to eat and Romans to kill. Move, Bessie! Look, you have just climbed the walls of Rome. The hard part is over. From here on out, it's all downhill, and nobody else will die. Except for them. The rest of us here, no one dies. Starting now. Okay, let's go. Oh, for goodness sake! As it turned out, the descent was as deadly as the way up, with the cold really starting to set in. The path became even more narrow, and at one point, the men spent 3 days in the freezing cold, repairing a collapsed road. When they finally reached the bottom, Hannibal said, "Look, guys, we did it." Well, I thought it went really well. When Hannibal left Spain, he had about 100,000 men. By the time he reached the Italian plains, his numbers had dwindled to about 26,000. He was now caught in enemy territory, without a supply line or source of reinforcements. And any elephants who had survived to this point were almost certainly traumatized. So what on earth was Hannibal up to? This supposed military genius had just led a starving and weakened army right into enemy territory. Any modern general who lost half their men to mountains would be immediately fired and possibly even decanced on live TV. Here's the thing. While Hannibal may not have planned on losing quite so many men, he had almost certainly expected considerable losses, and he always had a plan for how to replace them. Need men? Northern Italy was full of men. Big, burly Celtic men. All the men Hannibal would ever need to beat off Rome. These Celts were filled with resentment, having only recently been conquered by Rome. Hannibal hoped to be seen as a liberator, convince the Celts to cut ties with Rome, and instead join him in crushing Rome. That way, he could gain a source of reinforcements and supplies in Rome's backyard.
That's a smart idea.
But sir, in order to win the loyalty of the Celts, we would need to make a seriously favorable impression on them. How do we get them to like us? Kill them. One of Hannibal's first actions in Italy was to obliterate a nearby tribe who wouldn't join him. This sent a clear message to all the other tribes. It was his wrath they should fear, not Rome's. The realization that a Carthaginian army had just invaded them must have been shocking for the Romans. But when they looked at this ragtag group broken by the Alps, they couldn't have felt very intimidated. However, Hannibal was now in Italy, and he was about to embark on one of the most astonishing military campaigns in all of human history. The Romans may not have known it yet, but there was now a monster loose in their territory, and he
I honestly forgot I was recording for a second. Yep.
Was violent for Roman blood.
Part 2. We'll watch part 2 tomorrow. By the time y'all seen this. Alrighty, y'all. Well, hope y'all have a great day, alright? Alright, so. Yeah. Like and subscribe if you want to. I don't really care right now. I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye-bye.